Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're having a great day. This is Rick on day 3 of the van bed build. Okay, it's a nice bright early morning and it's freezing cold. It's about, feels about 2 degrees. I think it's a little bit more than that, but it actually feels like that. But hopefully when I start getting some of the manual labour going on, hopefully I should warm up nicely. So, been giving a bit of thought to the system I've got here, and I'm still very, very pleased with the way it's turned out. But one thing that did pop into my head last night was this raised bit here. One of the reasons I made the gap here was so that a duvet or bedding can go down the side and actually get tucked down there. But having this here is going to be slightly counteractive. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this off, and I'm actually going to have the curve at this end, but I'm actually going to slope it down here. And then what I'll do is I'll just leave a little witness, possibly just like ½ an inch protruding above the framework there, and I shall cap that off with the trim here. And so I think that's one of the first things I need to get on with this morning, and I will reflect that on this side as well. So we'll have a large piece of furniture board here, but it will quickly slope down into that just ½ inch witness, which I'm going to carry on around the rest of the bed. I was thinking possibly at this end I could do the same, so I could have a retainer, like a height retainer up here, and then slope it down. But actually I'm going to take advantage of the additional bit of space here for my pillow, simply because I'm quite tall and I don't want my feet wanting to hang over the end of the bed, because I'll have to contend with this. So what I will do is I will actually, although the mattress will go up to this line, my pillow will be pushed up those just a few extra inches, which would make all the difference at the bottom end of the bed there. So I will literally just have, like I say, this retainer here, and then it will slope down, and then I'll just have like a ½ inch witness all the way up to the end of the bed there. I've also given thought to the space here, because if I fill this with furniture board, it's going to be incredibly heavy, and one of the things I've been trying to do throughout this whole build is save on a bit of weight. And that's why I've got big holes cut in the furniture board, because it lightens it up. So for here, what I'm thinking of doing is actually having a combination of furniture board and thin plywood. I'm thinking furniture board in the form of a kind of almost like a curtain pelmet. If you've got curtains, you know, fancy frilly curtains, you quite often will have like a wooden structure that comes sort of out from the tops of them, and then it's sort of like shaped, goes along, shaped at the other end and goes back again, and it's like it's called a pelmet. And what I was thinking was, along those lines I could have like an archway of furniture board, so that I can get this finish along the edge here, which will make it look very neat. But then literally the furniture board will only be so wide, and then like a nice, perhaps like a curve, like a pelmet, and then this huge gap here I will just fill in from behind with a large sheet of plywood. And I think that will save a lot of weight. I'll just use really thin plywood, sort of, you know, 3mm. Possibly I'll need an extra reinforcing leg here, because otherwise the plywood's going to be a bit wobbly. But I think I'm kind of going with that idea at the moment. I'll see if that idea evolves through the day, but that's my main intention. It also occurred to me that this is white. I actually need to get some of this laminate on these visible pieces as well. Anyway, let me get on with it, and I'll come back to you when things have happened. Right, one thing I have just realised is this self-adhesive vinyl, I just don't have enough of it to do the whole thing, so I've had to order another roll. Originally I ordered a 15-metre roll, which did most of this, and the seat box as well. Then I ordered a second 10-metre roll, which was going to be for the bed, but bearing in mind all of the shelves and the little walls and everything are all being covered with it as well on both sides, it's actually eating through it quite quickly. So I've just got another one and I had to get it on a next day delivery, so it'll be here tomorrow. But we are now ready, I think, pretty much to actually screw these things into place. I found some screws that are exactly the right size, so they will go through the wood and then just into the 15mm ply without obviously breaching through the other side. I'm going to have to be very careful of the size of the pilot hole that I drill through the wood, because you need to drill a hole in the wood that this will slide into. What you don't want is a small hole that this actually screws into, because what happens is when it comes to hitting the furniture board, it'll actually push the furniture board away. So you need a hole that's clean, so this will slide through it, but then it'll bite onto the furniture board on the other side. So I'm going to put all this into place. I will have to make a very slight tilt on it. It won't be visible when it's done, but it'll just be to make sure that this edge will be absolutely spot on all the way down. And then that way I will then work on the next piece here, and it should be a nice clean marry up. All theory, let's put it into practice. Now the other decision I've had to make is in regard to the fridge. Do I leave it sticking out a little bit so that the door can open a full 180 degrees, or I could push it further in so it's flush, but then the door would only open at 90 degrees. I don't really like it sticking out like that. It looks much better when it's flush. It just looks, I don't know, just looks a little better. But like I say, the door, okay, so it opens that amount before it's actually hitting up against the thing there. I think, yeah, I think I would definitely prefer this sunk in just a little bit rather than sticking out. It just looks that little bit better. And also I'm going to be putting some of this vinyl, assuming I can do this. Apparently I think you can remove these door cards. There's a way of doing it. I'll have to chat with my friend Damon, because I think he's done his one. He's got a big picture of some wolves on it. But if I can, I will put some of this vinyl on there as well, and then it should look really good. Need to get this as square as possible. Door still opens fine. Okay, that's it. I think that is its final resting place. So now I can secure the fridge. Right, I'll get on with this. We'll screw this into place and we'll see what it looks like. There we go, that's it, rock solid in place. Very happy with the way it's turned out. And all I've got to do now is cover this over and it's job done. So we're all happy with that. It's locked into place. There's nothing else I need to do. I've given it a little hoover, and so now I just need to get a few screws into that. This cover here is just purely to keep the inner workings of the fridge away from any potential bedding that may, to be honest, it's pretty well protected. There's no way that the bedding's going to go down there anyway, but it's just there as a peace of mind thing, because otherwise there's nothing, literally this is the only thing between the back of the fridge and the underside of the mattress, apart from the slats, which will have big gaps in them. So it's more of a peace of mind thing. So this is a Dyson Hoover. I can't remember the make, and it doesn't really seem to want to say underneath. But I've only had this 2 years, and I've only been using it for about, I don't know, maximum of about 5 minutes on and off, and now the battery's completely gone, and it's been letting me down lately. I just about get my living room done. I usually tend to put it on the maximum level, but I literally 10 minutes later the battery's going flat, and that's only 2 years. Now they're great hoovers when they're working. It's really effective and really good, and it's useful not having the lead on it. But with the batteries just 2 years, and I'm going to get a maximum of about 5 minutes use out of it, possibly less. I don't think that's very good, but it's a bit of a pain because I've got a load of hoovering to do, and I've got to wait now for that to charge up. But anyway, apart from that, we're there. This is screwed down, the fridge is in, this is all in place. So all I've got to do now is go and get another piece of wood, which is, I know it's 43, it's going to be 43 inches high. The standard wood, which is this, is 600 wide, and so I'm literally just going to get a 600 wide piece of wood cut to size, and then I've got to figure out what I'm going to do about this. But I'll worry about that in a minute. But first of all, I need to get a 43 high with a slope on it, and we'll take things from there. Right then, this is a piece that is 43 high, which matches up with that. I've cut out the little slope here, and I've also, looking over the top here, I've actually cut it at an angle straight down, which marries up beautifully with this scrap bit of wood here. So that's going to be a really good join. I was surprised how easy it was to actually cut that. I did that by eye. Since I've started using a circular saw, I used to use a jig, but I've realised with a circular saw, because the blade is so large, as long as you set off accurately, you can get a really straight cut without actually needing a jig. And I did this without a jig, and it's turned out perfectly. Obviously I drew the line, you know, the guideline, and I was able to stick to it. I've also put the 2mm groove with the router. I keep wanting to call it a router, with a router in there. So I'm just doing a quick test fit. This looks fine. The join there looks absolutely fine. I'm going to live with this. I shall cover this over with the Fablon, and that's how the corner is going to be. I'm not going to worry about any kind of shaping or anything like that. It's just going to sit like that, and I think that will be fine. I've just spotted more blood stains. There's blood stains all over this. Unfortunately, when I made this cut, this edge was like a knife edge, and I didn't realise, and when I picked it up I ended up slicing through my fingers, so I've got plasters all over them now. So I had to sand that off just to get the knife edge off of it. But yeah, very, very pleased. So I'm just going to get that covered, and must remember to cover the little visible backside bit here as well. And then obviously I need to figure out a hole. I'm going to cut a hole, probably a long rectangular hole with curvy edges. Okay, there we go. That's the side piece done. I've got the trim on it, I've got the hole in it, and I've also just made the visible part covered in laminate. It looks a bit bad on the back, but you won't see that. But let's just do a quick test fit, and I think, yeah, look at that. That's absolutely fine. As you can see, I've got a nice little cubby hole there. It goes down quite deep, but I can store things like those 5-litre bottles of water, which were originally under there. I can now, I've just tried fitting those, and both fit in there beautifully, and they'll be completely safely secured. Obviously they're not going to go anywhere with this big lip here, and I'll put a little light in there as well, so it'll all light up if I reach in. But yeah, you know what, I'm really happy with that. And like I say, I've managed to get the trim and the wood absolutely square on, 90 degrees to the thing there, so anything I put here now is going to be a nice tight good fit, hopefully. So yes, very pleased. So we've reached the crunch time. I have to make a decision today about this side piece. So I'm literally looking at blocking this in with furniture board, but having a massive hole all the way around, and then that hole will be covered by thin plywood, and that will save a ton of weight. And I've got the option later on, if I find that I do need access to the cupboard, I can cross that bridge then. But I could even possibly make doors in the plywood itself. But for now, I think I'm going to go with that idea. It just seems to make sense. Like I say, my main priority here is saving weight and blocking this off. So that is what's running around in my head at the moment. Leave it with me and let's see what I come up with. Okay, extraordinary coincidence number 2. I can't believe this. I'm getting these really strange coincidences happening. The first one was the width of this is exactly 600. which meant I didn't actually need to cut this board either side, because the boards I'm using are exactly 600 wide. So that was unplanned for. Now I've just gone and put this piece of cardboard. I bought a packet of sheets of cardboard ready to make templates. I've just put this up against there. It's exactly the right height. And again, I never planned that. That's just, I don't know how that came about, but that's exactly the height I'm working with. How bizarre. And how useful. That means I don't have to cut it in that dimension. There we go. I think it must be a sign. I'm either just doing something right, or this was meant to be. So yeah, so it's basically just going to make it like this C-shaped section here, and I'll make an identical one, have this C-shaped section here, and then 2 pieces of wood running along the middle, and jobs are good. I think. I can see it in my head. I've just got to turn it into reality now. So I've got this very rough template, but this is everything I need to make this work. So basically, this is my C-shaped thing. I'm just going to make 2 of those, and they will be perfect for either side, and then I'll fill in the middle. Right, leave it with me. Let's start cutting up some furniture board and hope it works. Yeah, this is looking good. Right then, it's hard to film this actually. We're running out of light, but I've got the 2 side pieces on, these 2 C shapes, and they're properly on, and I've got the back corner piece on as well. I just need to cut 2 more little pieces that are going to go in here and down there, just to slot them in. And then what I've done is I've left the 2mm groove available, so once this is all in place, I'm just going to put a single piece of trim along the whole lot. I've just slotted in that little bit in the middle there. There's a very slight wetness there, but I got the laminate to sort of go over the line, so it's not too bad. But the same on the bottom, just got that little, where are we there, the little filler in there, and I think that's pretty much done. On the back, I'm going to have to go around and trim just around the outside, but that's not a problem. That'll only take an hour tops, and that is pretty much finished for the day. Obviously, what I've got to do is fill that hole in now with a nice big sheet of plywood covered in this stuff. Now I'm running very low on this stuff, so I might have to just pop the plywood in there, not covered. I'll see how much of this I can get, but I don't think I've got enough to cover that area, so I'll have to wait till tomorrow for the new Fablon to arrive. And then I think we're pretty much ready to put the slats on. I haven't put the slats on yet because quite often I've been getting that through there and standing up here to do things. But as soon as the slats go on, then anything I need to do under here, I've got to be on my hands and knees. Like, for example, I've got to wire the fridge up at some point. So I think, yeah, that's all I can do. I mean, we're literally running out of light. You can see outside, it's quite dark out there now. I had to put these lights on. So that's pretty much all I can do for today. Yeah, I think tomorrow we'll conclude the finished bed. I'll get the mattress on here, maybe trim up the foam, and then we should have the workings of a finished bed. How cool is that? And then I can start thinking about overhead cupboards, possibly small overhead cupboards up there as well. I don't want to make them too big because I'll be hitting my head on them, but we'll see. But that is going to be it for this video. So thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in hopefully the final part of the bed build in the next video. So until then, take care.